You're listening to 88.3 WGWG. Noel Manning here with Jeff Powell, and also in our studios, Colin Hay. That was Colin Hay that you just heard. Colin, thank you so much for being here today.
How are you? Well, that was of course off the record. I couldn't play all those instruments at the same time. Struggling with one.
We tried. We tried to get you to play all those. Didn't quite work out. The tambourine between your legs was a little strange. So we do appreciate you being here today. You are in the area promoting your new CD, American Sunshine. Also played last night in Atlanta. Playing tonight.
I wasn't exactly in the area, you know. Well, I did drive out of my way.
Okay. He did make a very special trip.
I did make a right off the highway to come to Boiling Springs.
Well, okay. I guess I misled you with the directions.
I'm glad that I did, because it's a very nice place, very nice countryside.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We love our area here, and we love to have.
Now let me ask you this:
yes,
are there any Boiling Springs in Boiling Springs?
There used to be.
But not anymore.
No, back in the 40s.
They've cooled down a bit, have they?
Yeah, back in the 40s, some college students decided to put dynamite in the springs, hoping it would make it larger. It didn't.
God,
yeah, that's the true story.
What a terrible story that is.
I made that up, Jeff? I'm somewhat
they weren't
correct.
College students.
Oh, they were high school
college students.
No, they weren't college students.
They were the town fathers.
Town fathers.
Yeah, that's more like it.
That makes it a better story.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. See, Jeff is a historian, and so for him, he needs to add that.
The town fathers with no sense.
Well, you were in Atlanta last night. Tonight, you're in Charlotte playing solo. You and a guitar. Is that correct?
That's right.
So
well, two guitars if you're going to be completely accurate.
Okay.
Not at the same time, but but I do have one in a different tuning.
Okay. Now I know sometimes your wife will hang out with you and sing with you. That's not the case.
She's in Argentina, so she's not going to make it tonight. No.
But you know, with technology, you could make it happen.
Not quite.
No, not quite. Okay. All right. Well, we're glad you're here. Glad you're in the area and performing. If anybody does want to see you tonight, that's at the Neighborhood Theater. Showtime is 8 p.m. and you will be performing, and tickets are still available for that. And tomorrow,
are they still available?
I think they're two still available, just a couple. Sunday night in Carrboro, North Carolina, at the Arts Center, and I think you said in Wilmington a little later on.
Wilmington on Saturday.
Okay, Wilmington tomorrow night, and then Sunday going to Carrboro, and then a few dates in Texas before heading to the UK. So you've got a busy schedule over the next month.
I do.
Tell me about. What do you enjoy the most about performing solo? Because you've had the opportunity to be in these big arena settings, festival settings, even performed at the Sydney Olympics in front of 1 billion or so people. Tell me about the solo, just you and the guitar. What you enjoy about that?
Well, it's been very fulfilling for about the last 20 years, because when I got dropped by MCA Records in 1991. So I was on my own. I thought, well, what will I do? So I wasn't quite sure what to do, because I didn't have a record deal anymore. So I thought, well, I'll go out and play acoustic guitar and sing, and so that's what I started to do. And even from a very early point, there was sometimes only 40, 50 people would come, but they came, So it became. I felt like the audience needed an explanation as to why I was standing on the stage in front of them, and they would be looking around thinking, why is there only 40 or 50 people here after those big crowds?
Right.
And so it really became clear to me that it was a real kind of brand thing. Like Men at Work was a real kind of pop phenomenon, if you like, and if you took that away, well, you really had to start again. So that's really what I started to do. So the audiences and the solo performance has always been very close to my heart, if you like, because it was sustaining, because those people came to see me play when there was no reason to. Like, it wasn't my new songs weren't on the radio, and no one was telling them to go. They just it was maybe just an ad in the paper, or they found you. So it became conversational, and to some degree, and so I would start to tell people about what had happened to me, and often what you discover is that the fall from grace is sometimes more interesting than the lofty peaks of stardom, So I started to talk to people between the songs, and I got a few laughs, and there's nothing more encouraging than that. so I would just continue, and it developed into a show. Actually, I called it Man at Work, and I'd performed off Broadway in New York for a while, and I've done it at different festivals, Edinburgh Fringe and Montreal Festival and Aspen Comedy Festival and down in Melbourne. So I actually wrote it. A New York producer asked me to write it, so I scripted it and so forth. And so I pull bits from it now and again, but it's constantly in development. And it's a good way for me to tour new records as well. A lot of audiences have come to expect that once a year I come around and do the solo show. So it's been a very cool experience for me.
Well, let's hear one of the songs right now.
All right. I bet you didn't expect a long. That was the short answer too.
That was a beautiful answer. Thank you.
Thought I'd never reach the water. I had to cross the desert and the Great Divide, drinking only golden promises with white lines in my eyes. All sons and daughters followed all the signs to paradise, believing only dreams and promises with starlight in their eyes. Oh, California, yeah, it's the one big love that you cannot end. Oh, California, well, it's not like before, but we can still pretend. I was swimming in freezing water. I could hear the music from the other side. Looked up and I saw my father, and tears were in his eyes. Oh, California, yeah, it's the one big love that you cannot end. Oh, California, well, it's not like before, but we can still pretend. We all still live for Friday night. Old habits die hard when you get them right. There's a broken dream in every grain of sand, but it's as close as I can get to the promised land. Oh, California, yeah, I can see you now from the top of that hill. Oh, California, though many have gone, I got the memories still. Oh, California, yeah, I can hear the sound of the mission bell. Oh, California, we're one stone's throw from heaven. Thought I'd never reach the water. Had to cross the desert and the Great Divide, drinking only golden promises, white lines in my eyes. Oh, California, yeah, it's the one big love that you cannot end. Oh, California, California, yeah, I can't leave you now. Oh, California.